on this thing because Instagram has a little weird function with Restream that takes a moment to get going. So I gotta wait. Come on, Instagram, do your thing. Here we go. Right. Ah, there it is. Okay. And we are live. Well, everybody, welcome. I am your host, George Miller. I'm super excited to be with you tonight and to be with Lucky Gorman. So,
Hey, George.
Lucky is like a grandfather, an uncle, sometimes like a brother to me. We've known each other for many years now in a wide variety. I've done work for you, and you have mentored me in many ways. And I think in the past few years, I've been able to mentor Lucky in a few ways, especially with ice water. So Lucky, I'm gonna I just want to cut to the chase with this and jump right into
the water.
Yes, jump into the ice water, but in particularly a story. But first of all, I'm gonna tee up a few things for everybody joining in. You can type your questions into the comment section. Welcome. Good to have you on. I see you joining in to the live stream. Good to have you. You can type your questions in, and I may not get back to those questions right now, but we do have somebody taking note of those. So Jane, thank you. And I might be addressing some questions that other people have put in. One of the videos that went viral, there's a lot of questions that I've been responding to on there. Questions about safety, questions about the neoprene gloves that you see us wearing. We're going to get to all that. But I want to, I'm excited to relive a certain memory with Lucky here. So what I want to do is, Lucky,
the cold.
Just tell us about that day that we went into the lake together on Ohio Street Beach, and just share with us what happened.
Well, we walked together through the cold sand up to the beach, and put down our blankets and stuff like that in a big pile, and looked at the water, and I said, "I'm doing this again."
Okay, so it wasn't your first time.
No, I started a few years ago with George and a few other people, going into the water in the winter. And the first thing I noticed was, what? This is not. Now that I'm in the water, there's no fear, and it's fun. And here's a few other guys and women walking around in the cold water, and we're all looking at each other and laughing and having a good time. And the cold water is, it's just the excuse to get together. So that's how we started. I think I did it 6 or 7 times the first year, and a few next year. And let's going to this one morning. We walked out on the cold sand, and we put down these blankets and other things we had, and they're just in a big pile, and walked in the water.
There's ice encrusted in the sand, so we're literally putting the stuff on top of ice on the sand.
Mm-hmm. And look around, so all the high rises and the lake, and there's nothing around but George and I. We walk in and go in. I'm in there for a couple minutes and walking around, and I walk back out and walk over, and George is going back into the water, and I sit down and take out this blanket, and I said, "You know what? Now that I'm coming out of the water, the air, this 30-degree air, it feels so warm, and there's the sun." And I lay on the blankets, and and it just feels good. And I look around, and all of a sudden I see a fire tugboat on the lake, and I look over to the left, and there's fire engines and everything else. I said, "This is amusing."
Okay, so literally, we've gone into the water. I'm back in for more. Lucky's hanging out on the beach, just watching, and a huge fire engine boat, which I didn't even know existed, starts coming in, and I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling bad. I'm like, oh no, like we're in trouble. This is terrible. There's like fire engines stopping on Lakeshore Drive. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're putting like how many people are going to be like late to work? Oh, this is horrible. And I get out of the water and I see your face, and Lucky looks like a 5-year-old boy who's like, they brought the helicopter. Look at the size of that boat.
Yeah, right.
And you did get some pictures of those. So this is going on. So that was kind of nice because I was like, all right, Lucky's having a good time. This is okay on that end. He's fine. I'm fine. And then we look over to like the barriers on Lakeshore Drive, and there's like people in like these big like whatever those like pantsuits are.
Oh yeah, there's
like the fire, because it's cold or whatever.
yeah, the same like the fishermen used to wade into the water.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes, and they are like climbing over the divider and running over to us. And we're just standing there. I'm like barefoot, and like I think we're both barefoot. I mean, we're in our shorts. We just got out of the water. And one guy is like, "Do you know how cold it is?"
Yeah. We do, yeah.
And then his partner says, they're standing on ice. I don't think they mind. So this happens. And this is early on in my time going into the ice water. I mean, I was only doing this for like a month at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very excited about it. Lucky apparently is excited about it too. We're all fine and dandy with it until this moment hits. And I am terrified because I'm like, oh no, they're going to take this experience away from me. They're going to say, you can't do this anymore. But this is where my introduction to the Chicago Marine Unit began. Because I was advised to give some phone calls and see if there was some kind of workaround that we could do with this. And I actually brought it into a coaching session of mine because I was so upset. I had all these other things. I was like, honestly, the thing that's most on my heart is like, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to keep going into ice water in the lake. And I was like, is this even a real problem? Like, this sounds like such a ludicrous problem, but this is the thing that's most important to me right now. So I worked it through with a coach. And what we got to was that I ended up calling around and finding out that there's other cold water swimmers. And that what they do is they call the Chicago Marine Unit. The city of Chicago has cameras up and down Lakeshore Drive, and the Marine Unit puts a camera on me. And that way, when the distress calls start coming in, they can say, no, we've got a camera on them. They're fine. No need to send anybody out. And we're good to go. So one thing I got to say about this is that it's sinking into me still how amazing it is that we live in this city that like can provide this kind of thing, that there's a whole like network of like care and like making things happen for people in a city. Like, that's amazing to me.
It is amazing. Yeah. You push through the bureaucracy and you get to some human beings.
Yeah, totally. So now when we go in, you see me calling, saying what's going on, and it's going to be all right. So so Lucky, you were a critical part of my journey into the ice water and that time of thinking I was going to get in trouble and ultimately discovering that there's a way to work with this. So thank you.
Well, look, it's fun. We'll do it again Sunday.
That's right. So yes. So if you are ever looking for this, the next plunge is coming up, the Special Olympics. What's the date of that?
March 3rd,
Okay, March 3rd.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and which group should you join? It is the Polar Pals.
Polar Pals.
Polar
Okay.
Pals. So if you want a group to go in with, sign up. It's for the Special Olympics, the Polar Bear Plunge 2024.
It's co-ed, so you'll have plenty of good company.
Fantastic. Well, cool. So now, Lucky, I'm going to take a quick look here. Oh, good to see you all joining in. Welcome, welcome. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. If you're just listening in, cool. I'm the host, George Miller. I am going to be here talking to people about their experiences in cold water and what kind of revelations they get to. Because I love it. I could talk about it all day. And so I figured, why not share the love and share in this with other people who have lovely stories about going into ice water.
The one I want to share is that when I come out of these little escapades, I feel more in touch with my body. I feel solid, and while I'm not physically stronger from going in, I feel stronger. I feel clearer, and it's almost, that's pretty much the best way to put it. And usually for the rest of the day, I am sharper. I'm more alert to what's going on, both externally and in my life and what I'm thinking. I'm more present. Maybe I ought to do it more often. Yeah.
So that when you go in, describe the sensations that you experience and also the mental state that you're in, because I've heard you talk about this sort of this like realization that you're okay.
Yeah, well, if I go in and I just concentrate on myself, the water just feels damn cold. But if I'm looking at George, or I'm looking at, usually there's a few people around, and I'm looking at them and we're all smiling and happy, and I just feel good. And I feel good, like I'm standing in cold water and feeling good. And walk around for a few minutes, and then come out and sort of revel in the experience.
So one of the things that you brought up there about how you notice your body more. So to have the sensation of literally like my hands, my skin, my arms is at first, when the cold water hits, it's like it feels like acupuncture, like all these little spikes, like just like all throughout the body. And so all this like area of myself that I've had for my entire life, but I haven't necessarily noticed in this kind of way. It's all like highlighted.
It's come alive.
Yes. I can, like, I'm aware. I'm alive. Like, it's like, oh, my kneecap is alive. My thigh is alive. My hands, oh boy, the hands, those feel so intense. So much so that oftentimes I'll wear neoprene gloves. I've been experimenting ever since talking with Shanna about how my hands can actually be okay, even that frostbite isn't something that's going to set in immediately. But if you're just starting with this, I do recommend putting on neoprene gloves. You can work your way to taking them off, but you'll feel it so much in your hands. The sensation, it's like I can feel the ice cold going in, and I get to not just like visually think about my the joints and the ligaments and muscles in my hands and in my entire body. I get to feel about them.
Yeah, like most of us make our living with our minds, whether you're in computer or coaching or my two professions, hyperbaric oxygen and carpentry. I mean, I'm thinking about things. I'm getting them done. And what it occurred to me is that I've lost track of my body.
Whoa. Holy shit. Say more.
And when I come out of that water, I feel my dimension. I know who I am.
Yes. Yes. Dude, I love that. I love how you put that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we do. We spend, I mean, like all this technology, all this stuff that we're used to, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to have the full-bodied experience of going into ice water.
Yeah.
That is so well put I mean, there's no choice. Like what the choice is to have it or not. But once you put yourself in there,
it's like no other experience. It's, you can go into the ring and do a bit of boxing or a lot, or you can do other sports. And like in baseball, you're looking for the ball, and all these tennis, you feel parts of your body, but it's not like that. When you come out of the water, you feel whole. There's a clear distinction between the world around me and me.
Whoa, dude, that one of the thoughts I've had about this, or feelings I've had about this, is how incredibly affirming it is. And the way you're describing that going into the ice water, then my body is experiencing affirmation of its own self, of its own staying alive in this challenging situation of being in ice water, but that I'm okay doing it. It's not like I'm, I have like the first experiences of it, it's mostly aliveness and wonderfulness. Now, at a certain point, I have gotten to where I start to be aware of death and be aware of, oh, okay, it's time to get out now. But so much of that, my first response so often is something like, oh no, okay, this is dangerous, I need to get out. But if I can pause that for a moment and allow my body to do what my body can do, I get what you're talking about. That full-bodied affirmation had nothing to do with my brain other than the choice to stay in there. But then I have this like revelatory experience.
Sure.
And it's just there. It's like if you're in Chicago, it's right over there. It's like it's available. Like how phenomenal is that?
And the common word is teaming. But I bet you can go back a couple years and remember each group that you've been in the water with and what they look like.
Oh
yeah. That these are your people. You're working together, and it's like instant teaming.
Whoa, it is.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, it because there is this moment that we want to capture as best as we can. Of course, it's not going to ever be like going in. But when we go in and I see Lucky's eyes, I see when the presence happens, when Lucky fully embodies himself, I can see it. There's like a physical thing that happens on your face. And then that's happening for me at the same time. And there is this like lock in of like, we're together in this feeling way. That's really profound, and it's a sacred space to me.
It's equally delightful and profound.
Yeah. And I do notice this. We talked about this before about how when getting out, I have this experience of being incredibly vulnerable. Where like one time getting out, there was we were being interviewed afterwards, and I hadn't met with any of the people interviewing us beforehand, so they were like new people to me.
Yeah.
And they came in and their questions were like abrasive, and I just felt like so scared and little and vulnerable. And I told them that I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm realizing right now that like I'm kind of in an altered state, and like I'm going to keep talking about this, but it's incredibly important to me that you, however you represent this and portray this to like the outside world, that you do it with utmost respect, because like this is something very, very dear to me. And it was kind of funny to me like talking about it that way, but I realized that like there is like a vulnerability. I mean, I'm vulnerable. I can't feel my body in the same way that I'm used to kind of just going through, like I can handle, like I have to move slower. I have to be paying attention to myself in ways that maybe I haven't paid attention to. Like you said, like for a very long time because of spending so much time in the head.
Mhm.
So yeah. Thank you for that insight. That's beautiful.
Oh.
Ah!
What can I say? That's the way it is.
Totally.
They're memorable. They're memorable experience that carry you a long time.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Carries you into the summer.
how so?
It just what I'm saying is that it's a strong experience and it doesn't go away that afternoon. It carries you for a long time.
How long do you find that it carries you?
Well, we did the first polar plunges 4 years ago out at the Museum of Science and Industry Beach,
Uh-huh.
somewhere around there. And I can remember those.
Okay.
Can name the people who were there, and
But wait, go on a trip with me on this.
yeah.
Because how interesting. I know that it was not 4 years ago.
What was it? Three?
Only 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Is that, no. Is that, okay. We won't haggle whether it's 2 or 3. That's the least of it. But the point of it is there's this, you are with these people and you're all, you know your boundaries, you know who you are, you remember the looks on their faces. At least I do.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like walking into a crowd or a restaurant and you see a bunch of people and you wave to a few people you know and you leave. But you're all in this together, and it's not something you. It's in the genes. You're working together. It's life.
Cool. And so you're in that experience of it carrying you for a few days. That's something to think about, because one of the things that I found with going into ice water is that the benefit of it is that I get clarity, not just in my head, but in a full-bodied kind of way, that I feel even when I'm profoundly sad. Recently lost somebody very, very, very dear to me. And Tuesday morning, I go into the water, and I was having a crappy morning. Like I played terribly in basketball. I hated basketball. I hated everybody on the court. I just hated everything. And I go into the water, and within 2 minutes, I'm bawling my eyes out. And I'm just realizing, like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. You know, I miss somebody very much. And the water just like immediately put me in touch with some very, very core feelings of loss, and facilitated me just being present with what is so. And so it's kind of funny to say that it felt good, but the release of that, the release and the being with the sadness felt good.
You felt good. The pain was there, but you were there holding the pain, and the pain wasn't holding you.
Damn. Dude, that is a clip. That is, yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. It's not because the pain did not go away. And I did, and you know what? The other thing is I didn't want the pain to go away because it's like I lost somebody. I don't want, I like, that's like, that's a memory. It's like, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, how did you say that? I was holding the pain. The
pain wasn't holding you. You were holding the pain.
Thank you. That is beautifully said. I feel very seen by what you just said. Thank you. So that, oh, and that's when you're talking about being carried and how the experience with ice water.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, I mean, be all technical about it. It's like, it's not like the ice water is carrying me, but my experience with that, the experience of my body plus ice water is like then being carried, like, and I'm able to hold the pain and not be held by that, have that being something compressing me. And so that experience of being in ice water, then for many days, I'm still riding that. I'm still being carried by that experience. Like, that's amazing. Like, a degree didn't do that. Not that you shouldn't have a degree. Like, but all these things that I go do. By going into the ice water, I'm just being. And it's accessible, and I can do it again and again. That's another thing, is I have gone in now over 300 times into the lake. Not one time, even the time when we went in and the whole crew of fire department and Coast Guard rescue unit showed up, and I was like terrified, and I was like, oh no, what's the fine going to be? I got to put this out there to set the record straight for everybody who's listening and be like, oh, you cost the city of Chicago so much money. Truth is, one of the guys said to us, we were actually out doing some tests, and we just happened to all be out, and we all decided to come here. You're not actually costing the city of Chicago this a huge amount that it looks like. We were already out. So to set the record straight, all you haters out there who like want to say a bunch of stuff. Yeah. But anyway, even on that day, which was one of the worst days in terms of uh-ohs coming out of the ice water, even on that day, I didn't regret it. I have not once said, out of all the choices I've made today, I regret going into ice water. I've never once said that.
I never even thought about it. Thought about regretting it. You can do a lot of good coaching, you can do a lot of good therapy, and it all help differentiate. But going in the water, going in the cold water will give you a different sense of your humanity than the others do.
Whoa. Yeah.
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 A very real, tangible sense of who you are.
Damn, you just keep dropping them. You just keep dropping these one-liners that are so good. Cut that! Put that in there. Yes. Oh.
this has been good.
Yeah, this is good. So I'm gonna check in here with everybody. Oh, good to see you on Pocket World Chicago. Edwin Moreno, thank you for being on last week. That was fantastic. We've got more guests coming up. But before we end this, I do want you to share about your businesses. I want to say a little bit. So Gorman Carpentry and Chicago Hyperbaric.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is this? What is this? This guy gets into so many interesting things. He's the one who introduced me to the level of coach. I would not be a coach if it was not for you. You introduced me to all kinds of weird ass awesome shit. So this new one, biofeedback, huge life changer for me, and some other people. Connor, and yes, I'll do more thank yous and things, shout outs in a moment. But so this guy gets into the most interesting stuff. So tell us about your business, Chicago Hyperbaric. Is that am I getting the name right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 5 years ago, I was listening to Dr. Daniel Amen. He said, people go in for coaching and for therapy, and they spend years doing it. And it doesn't. Most people does them a lot of good. But nobody ever thinks about having the strengths of their brain looked at. Neither did I. So, you go to doctor, psychiatrist, orthopedist, but so anyway, I went. He was right. It was very clear. So I went and into the clinic, and I had called a SPEC scan. It lets you know how your brain is functioning.
A SPEC scan, okay.
And it was, he's pretty good. He said, this is where you're at now. And of course, the question is, what can I do to maintain that?
Uh-huh.
So he said, do neurofeedback, which I was already doing, and practicing. And then do hyperbaric oxygen. So what's that? He said, it's oxygen under pressure, so that your body, and especially your brain, gets more oxygen. Your brain gets enough, but it never gets as much as it needs. It could use. I won't say needs because we're alive, but it could use. And I put it off for a while because it was a bit expensive.
Uh-huh.
And then I forgot somebody's name one day, and that's not me.
Oh, okay.
So I went and I looked for a used one, couldn't find them. And I asked one of the distributors, how come I can't find them? He said, when people get these, they keep them.
Whoa.
So I went and I bought one and I started using it. You have to use it for, 8 or 10 times every day. And I started noticing, I'm out of the house 15 minutes faster and I'm not even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started noticing these little puzzles I do. The fastest time I could do one of them was 5 minutes. Now that I've been getting my brain oxygenated, I get it done in 3 minutes. And then I don't get tired in the afternoon. I can think things through. So this is cool. So I went and I got certified. So now I have the title of a medical hyperbaric oxygen clinician. Very big title, but simple. And I've just kept doing it, and I think through problems better. But now it's been, I went back in and got another scan,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually shows that 4 areas of my brain are functioning more faster than 4 years ago.
Dude, to stop me here if this gets uncomfortable, but okay, something that you need to know about this man. is how much he gets around. Okay? Like I see him in all kinds of places I don't expect to see. And how old are you?
80, almost 84. Another month or so.
Okay. Almost 84, running 2 businesses, goes to like all these like live shows. Like I'm at one festival and it's like, oh, of course Lucky's here. I'm at another, oh, there's Lucky. Like the number of times that like I stumble into you, it's somewhere in the city. Okay. And so now you're telling me that on top of all of this, because I've known you for years and this is like just how you are. And now you're telling me that your brain activity, you had this looked at 4 years ago, 80 years old. Now you're almost 84, and your brain activity in the 4 quadrants.
In 4 areas. There's about, a lot more areas, but 4 areas, and I don't want to get too technical. Let's just say 4 areas, it's actually, my brain functions faster than it did 4 years ago.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And all you have to do is lay down and go to sleep in the chamber for a few hours. What else do you want? So anyway, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, that's awesome. That makes such a difference. I see that we're just juicing. Our body needs oxygen. Our brain needs oxygen. So many things that go wrong in life and in birth and all that stuff is like if we're not getting enough oxygen, it's an issue. So by the fact that you're pressurizing that and basically spiking the oxygen levels in your brain is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, right.
It's just like good stuff. It's like I thought of dinosaurs and how there was probably more oxygen on the planet at that time, and like leaves and trees and everything was just bigger.
Leaves, trees, insects were all bigger.
There's more oxygen.
And that's what I've been told. That makes sense to me. I can't prove it, but it makes sense.
And so that's just like put that in your brain and like grow this stuff like a jungle. Just to have the brain grow. And
it doesn't grow, but it functions faster.
Okay.
So anyway, it connects with you. But whatever, there's for those who are curious, there's tons of stuff on the web about it. What's made it more realistic is in the last 10 years ago, they were, or so, maybe something like it, they were all metal, and they were, a couple $100,000.
Okay.
Technicians, of course, but now they're made out of, space age plastic. You can carry them around and, with you. And,
that's so cool.
They're not inexpensive, but they're less than an upgrade in buying a new car. Let's put it like that. And they last forever. So
that's awesome.
So it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for telling us about the hyperbaric and your business, and that is exciting to me. I will get into this at some point. Right now, I'm just getting into ice water and bio and neurofeedback, but I will be playing with this at some point. I did a brain scan recently at a concussion, and somebody recommended that I go to have it checked out and stuff. Did this, and one of the fun little things that I found out was exactly where the concussion was in my brain, and a simple exercise of looking at my thumb and then allowing my eyes to kind of look directly straight and see 2 different thumbs instead of trying to turn it into one. And by doing that, it accesses that part in my brain and strengthens it. And I've noticed a difference. Like something that silly of just like looking, just giving a thumbs up to my brain. And so, yeah, that I was thinking about that, and oh my gosh, and then combining it with the neurofeedback, like triggering that connectivity in my brain to go faster, the hyperbaric I can imagine would be doing a similar thing where it's just like juicing up. If my focus, if I'm focused on something, I can like wire those neurons together in that way. And if I can juice it up with some hyperbaric chamber oxygen stuff, great.
Well, it's all very technical, but you'll enjoy yourself more you using it. You get it. It's a real kick to watch yourself do more than you used to.
Cool. Well, Lucky, thank you. Thank you for coming in today. And I want to give a shout out to Hairpin Art Center, which is where we're at. A great spot in Logan Square, hosts a open mic every Wednesday evening and hosts other events, some open, some not, but check them out. And they have a wonderful team here. So big shout out to Day, the producer who makes stuff happen. Shout out to Beck. I see you back there. Beck making things happen here. You'll see stuff on Instagram, the work that they put together. And shout out to Melody. Shout out to Nilda for all of the stuff that you do that helps create this space for arts to flourish, for music to flourish. It's incredibly important. So thank you, everybody. And thank you for joining in today. I have places that you can sign up for coaching. If you want more information about going into ice water, I've got that as well. I'm going to be taking a group of people in late in March. We're going to be doing the training to get ready for it. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the breath work that you do beforehand. I didn't answer a whole lot of questions today. I mostly was just enjoying talking to Lucky about our experiences of it and hearing your wonderful one-liners about how ice water works. God, those are so good. And but there's more out there. Of course, if you're interested in this stuff, research it. Check it out online. You know, another shout out, I always want to give a shout out to the John the Baptist of ice water, Wim Hof. The combining the breath work of 30 deep breaths, then letting it all out for as long as you can, and then one deep inhale. That combined with going into ice water is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like without that, I don't know that I would have done it or had the same experience. So there's all kinds of information that you can do with that. If you want to work one-on-one with me on this stuff, I'm happy to do that. We'll find a spot where to do it in person if you want, or we can do it online. And I can take you through what you need to do to prepare yourself to go into ice water and get the most value out of it. So there's spots for that. I'll be dropping the link to my website, a spot where you can sign up for just a conversation with me if you're interested in learning more, or if you know that you want to dive in, you can register for some of the courses I have on there. So more to come. Again, thank you for joining in. Lucky, come here. Give me a squeeze. Oh, this guy gives the best freaking hugs. Dude, thank you. Thank you for coming here today, but thank you for the influence that you are and have been in my life. And I'm so happy that I get to share so many things with you, and so happy I get to share frickin' ice water with you. So thank you. All right, cool. We're signing off until next time. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing some folks join in that it's good to see you coming on. Karen, welcome. Paleo Prime. Oh, dude, that's so funny that my brain doesn't make the connection between that and the person behind it. I know you. Okay, anyway. Janie, thank you. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Good to see you all. Okay, we'll be posting some more of this later. We'll be taking those amazing little nuggets that Lucky dropped today, sharing those, making sure that those get out into the social interwebs for more people to hear. Many blessings, everybody. Take care.